Hi and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a let's build, and funnily enough I thought I would just do, I don't know why I said funny, it's not that funny, but I thought I would build a house very similar to the one I'm living in currently with my family. So this is I've done it on a smaller lot because my house is actually a semi-detached house, which, if you don't know, is a house that shares a middle wall. So it's like one big house, but it's split down the middle, and half is one half is one house for one family and one house is one half for the other family. But how I've done it in this video is I've just done like my half, just so I have more garden, so it's a bit more realistic. My garden is slightly longer than this plot of land, but yeah, I thought I would just do a let's build of it, just so you can see and try and get an idea of what builds would be like in my kind of area. I live near London. I'm not in London, I always just say near London just because it's easier to say. I live in an area called Surrey, which is just out of London. It's quite, there's a few rural places, a few more suburban places. It's got a mixture of everything, Surrey, and it can be quite pricey because you're so close to London, but usually you've got your mixture of obviously council houses and bought homes. I live in a council house in quite a nice area, so I'm not very judgy, but I'm just going to try and show you what my house kind of looks like. My house as well, I always find with these types of houses in the UK, there's not a lot of windows for starter, and the roofs are really boring, so I tried to make my roof slightly more interesting just so it would look better on The Sims, but honestly, these sort of houses in these areas, they're not that they're not that well thought out. I think it's just, you know, kind of slapdash, there's a house, and then you also get a lot of brick in the UK. Not a lot of modern houses. A few more modern houses are going up in near where I live, but they just don't suit the area. I always find like houses need to suit areas, but most houses that you would see in Surrey, probably all across the UK, they are very brick. These are areas of more red brick. I know different bricks are apparently where that brick has like originated from, but yeah, we have a lot of red brick houses. I'm not sure if that's entirely true. And then just out the front we have quite a nice sized driveway. You can fit 2 cars on our driveway, and then to the side we've got where the door is, the opposite side, so the window side is where the more greenery bit is that I'm going to make, is the side we share with, not share, but where it splits between for the semi-detached house. So we've got a kind of little front garden area, and then how these houses are mapped up is they basically they mirror each other. It's quite hard to explain if you're like me and useless at talking, but I'm trying. So anyways, these sort of areas in our gardens as well, and also it seems that nothing really goes in my builds because there's a lot of, I've noticed with my mum, we've got a lot of fencing that's like brown, and then our windows are like white, and I couldn't find for the life of me, in my front garden we have a tree, quite a small tree, and I didn't want to size down like the tree, so I was trying to find a bush that kind of looked like my tree in the garden, but these trees were all too big and I just thought they looked silly if I sized them down. So in the end I went for this little tree, which is quite similar to the one I have out the front. Mine's just got one big kind of like ball shape at the top. And then we've got a lot of shrubs and bushes just to make it look slightly more homey. I could do this as I could have done this as a speed build, but I just thought it's nice to see how different people build. And I've been doing a few Let's Builds recently. I know as well I haven't uploaded in a long time. I've been super busy at work. My like actual job is it's a very busy time of the year, so obviously I just haven't had time to film. So I mean, I've had time to film, I haven't had time to edit. So I've got loads of things lined up, it's actually just editing them and getting them ready to be able to put online. But here I'm just I kind of thought I'd do it how easy I can remember, just from, I know obviously I live in my house, I see it every day, but there's certain things that you miss out when decorating. So I just thought I'd focus on each area as I go, and hopefully it looks like it'll come together. I kind of have a bit more to talk about really with Sims now, because obviously EA Play has happened, which is fantastic. I didn't actually have time to watch the live stream because it was my birthday on Friday, so I was out on Saturday, so I didn't get to watch it, but I did see the trailer and I'm so excited for the game pack, the expansion pack that we are getting. I absolutely loved the Island Paradise expansion in Sims 3, so this is something that I was just so excited for. I'm one of the people, I can take or leave university. I wasn't really jumping on the bandwagon for university because it's for me, it's not something that really drastically changes my gameplay, whereas I am someone who I adore mermaids. I love being able to swim in the sea. I just think that's just something so fun, and like the jet skis and things, and people getting angry about the fact that we've got jet skis and boats before cars, but cars don't really do anything because of the loading screens. Like, it's kind of like having the cars in The Sims 2. They're a bit pointless, but they're there. Cars only made sense in Sims 3. So I'm really chuffed with what it looks like. I will obviously be purchasing and then getting a magic kind of pack in the autumn time is very exciting as well, because that could mean fairies, it could mean werewolves, it could mean witches and wizards, all that fun stuff. We obviously have vampires now because they had their own individual pack, but I just think how fun. I'm going travelling in October, so I probably won't get to see that pack, but I do think it's very exciting. Here I did struggle slightly. To the side of my house we have like an alleyway with a gate that goes to the back garden, but to the side of it there is like a little storage room, and I was just being a bit stupid here and couldn't figure out why I couldn't place the the floor here, so I'm gonna probably cut some of this footage out because it's just highly embarrassing as to why I couldn't figure this out. Okay, yeah, so I realised that the building that I built had to be on a foundation as well to be joined to the foundation. That's just me being silly and not having my brain working. And obviously we don't have gates how my gate is in real life, so I thought I would just make this like make do gate with these bits here, trying to like block it off. I would really appreciate is a tall gate, like a real, because then here I was trying to like see like that would be perfect, but I don't know how it looks. That kind of gate, being able to like place a gate in between walls like that, so you can have a little alleyway, I think that's super handy. But I don't think it'll be something that anyone else is interested in. Just me. I'm the only one interested in that sort of gate. idea for an alleyway, because they're quite a common thing in the UK, especially if you live in a council house, I think, because of the shared wall area. You have then a side gate to get into your garden. Majority of the houses do. So that's that. And then I did kind of think maybe I should have a step going up here. I think I get rid of it though. And my stairs are against the wall going to the upstairs. And this plan, I've actually been really generous with the amount of space I have, because our house is actually quite small, and the floor plan used to be completely different to how it used to be. We've changed our house quite a lot on the inside from what it used to be. It used to be very old looking and very I don't know the right word, but in that hallway area where the stairs are, there used to be a door going to the kitchen. There isn't anymore. We got rid of it, and that used to be your access to the kitchen. And then where the kitchen will be, this wall that I'm drawing in, not here, there's a wall that I draw in a minute, here, this wall, there used to be a serving hatch, like little window, so you have to go through the door, through the hallway to get to the kitchen, and then you could serve food through the serving hatch. Kind of pointless, because it just made everything really long-winded. And then the back little square room didn't used to be on our house. We added that as an addition, as a little conservatory. A lot of British homes have conservatories. I don't know why. I think it's just a thing. We all seem to enjoy adding them on. They're usually like an extension type of job. And then I added this fence to the front here, but my house, I don't actually have fencing around that bit, so I think I delete it, because I was like, that doesn't look like my house. I do. We don't have fencing there, we just have a little step up, and sorry, my boyfriend just texted me. And yeah, so our downstairs is actually pretty simple. So you have your hallway, you have your living space, and then a tiny dining space, and a fairly decent kitchen. And then I couldn't decide on what colour I wanted these. I wasn't really a fan of the colour that I'd chosen. But yeah, I feel like having kind of the base shape is the best way of doing this build. I kind of usually build and then add the rooms and then decorate one room at a time, but this time I've kind of done everything as I'm going. So I've got the base shape down, and I've kind of sorted the front area, like the majority of the front, out completely, and then I move on to the living space and kitchen area. I think I do the kitchen first, I want to say. I'm not sure to be precise, but yeah, I think I might speed through this part. And then, so I sorted that area out, and then I go on to doing the upstairs bit. We have kind of this overhang bit above our door where we usually put our Christmas decorations, funnily enough. But I thought I would add the pillars to that part, just to make it just slightly come together. I don't have them on my house, but it just kind of looks strange without it within The Sims. I just thought it looked quite just a little bit strange. Then what do I do next? Oh, I just sort the upstairs out, and this is where I'm saying that houses in the UK are quite, I don't know, they're kind of boxy, and it annoys me. So doing the roofing for this kind of build was quite a challenge, I would say. They're just regular like roofs in like if it's a council house, they're not too out there, the roofs. So I've tried to do this as best I can. I'm not sure if it's going to work. who knows, I'm kind of just, it kind of looked alright when I did it, but yeah, I could have just left it with the plain roof, but I just thought it looked so boring. But that is what our houses look like. Within, like, that is how it looks, and they don't look this awful in real life, but I just guess you're used to all these like intricate roofs on The Sims that it just looks a bit silly. I changed this completely and add it with rooms, but obviously they can't be used rooms. But yeah, it's, if I showed you a picture of my house, which I'm not sure if I'm going to, it will be, you understand why I'm saying like our roofs are really horrible. I could try and find an image off of Google and insert that in, but I'm a bit lazy like that, and not sure if I can be bothered. But you can probably sense my frustration as I'm building this, going, this is painful. Okay, so I speed through this bit just because it was really painful to watch, and I wasn't really, too happy with how it looked anyway, but it is what it is, and I think I sort it out in the end, and it's pretty bearable to look at. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. And then I just add the brick pretty much everywhere, because I don't think my walls are any different. And then I'm just creating a conservatory style roof out the back, which I obviously change in a bit. And then I couldn't decide on what roofing I had within my house. I can't picture my roof, and I'm being lazy, and I didn't want to go outside and have a look at my roof. I wasn't then going to get up and go, but it is kind of like, the one I pick, I'm like, yeah, it does kind of look like that, but it's so hard to find the right kind of roof. I feel like on Sims, like, the one that you build with always looks quite normal. So when I looked at it, I was like, yeah, it could look like that. But then this version of the roof that you get with the build, I was like, yeah, that looks okay. I feel it'll do. And then this side bit, it doesn't actually have a proper roof, but I thought I would just match it with the rest of the house. I'm kind of thinking now it's kind of just kind of a like using what are they called, half walls around the top part, and then just filling it in. But I feel like that would make it look quite modern, but it's not modern, it's just the fact that it's a flat roof. I could flatten it down a bit more, but I just thought it looked a bit silly, and that looked fairly normal. I'm not sure if it does, but it's fine. And then I just placed this brick here just to make it fill in slightly more, and then I think I start doing the conservatory. Am I sure? Do I start doing the conservatory, or do I go on to something else? Oh, the ice cream van's here. Don't think it's been that nice today for the ice cream van, but never mind. And then I don't like the colour of that top bit, so I just make it a different shade. It kind of didn't change an awful lot, but it's what my house looks like. I can't help it, people. I can't help it. Yeah, and then I go to do the conservatory roof, because why not? And I also realised whilst doing this, I haven't done the bits around the roof. My brain is gone today. I can't remember what anything's called for the life of me. I think I now go to do the windows and things downstairs. Within this, trying to create your own home is actually quite tricky, because you actually look at it and think, it's like, I'm looking at this going, yeah, it looks like my house, but then some of the things that you're like using within the build, I'm like, if I didn't have any of these packs, I don't think I would be able to make my house, because some of this stuff is so really not like British homes, which I just find is really silly. Obviously, I'm just, you know, being a girl and being like, oh, it's not exact, but I think I get quite close to what my house looks like, and then I just decorate with flooring and the wallpapers in this part. We redid our flooring as well in our hallway to wooden floors, and then the rest of our house has got our living room and dining room has carpet, which needs changing because we've had dogs, and they've absolutely just wrecked the carpets, and their hairs are just everywhere. And yeah, so when my sister moves out with her dog, then hopefully my mum and dad said they'll sort the carpet out, because it is quite grimy at the minute because of dog hair and sick and whatnot. And then in the kitchen, I think have we got tiles, or is it that like funny like lino type material? I'm not too sure. I'm really useless. And in the conservatory, we've got tile, which keeps your feet nice and cold when you need it cold. But conservatories are kind of those storage type rooms in the UK, but ours is currently, I'm not going to decorate it as how it currently is, because that would be a mission and a half, but our conservatory is currently my sister's bedroom. It's a long story, but I will decorate it how we had it before it turned into a bedroom. It was kind of a bit more of a playroom, kind of utility exercise room, but yeah, I'll decorate it how it was. And we had a slidey door with funny actually, I should add the windows as well. We have window panelling so you can look into the conservatory, because it's just one big slidey door, but obviously the doors aren't big enough on the Sims to fill that whole space. I'll just probably have to add it windows, and then there's a door to get outside as well. And then to make it look like a conservatory, I've just added windows all around to make it nice and bright. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people have started with this feature of obviously having the conservatory roofs. It is a kind of a nicer feature to have within the house. And this wall here that I'm showing you now is, I'm trying to explain, that is the wall that's shared between, so as I'm sitting in my room, which is above where the dining room would be, that's the shared wall. So I share a wall with my next door neighbour, but because it's a shared wall and we added our conservatory, there is actually a gap, but I haven't done that within the build, so I've just pushed the wall out slightly, the fencing out slightly, which makes it slightly more realistic, but not really. And in the UK, a lot of people who share walls and live in these sort of areas have high fences, just because we like our privacy. The short fences within the Sims, I don't understand. It's just not a thing unless you're a private house on your own in the middle of nowhere. You wouldn't have a low fence in the UK. Everyone likes their privacy. And then obviously because it's a shared wall, there would be no windows against that wall, because it's shared, so you can't get windows there. And usually that's where the fireplace would be. So I do add a fake fireplace because ours is fake. We have it does lend out heat, but it's just a fake fireplace. And then I just move on to the kitchen, because I always find the kitchen is easiest to remake, even though I'm really struggling with walls, because again, for the life of me, I can't figure out without moving what my wall looks like. And again, we only have the one window within the kitchen, so I always think when you're placing all these windows within the game, and when you're doing builds, like anyone that is, I always look and go, that's quite funny, because in like my actual house, I don't have actually that many windows. Like in my room, my bedroom, behind me, there is just one window. I mean, it's a big window, like those big ones that I've been placing, but we don't get an awful amount of tall windows. And then this was really hard to do the spacing for my kitchen because our kitchen is just slightly strange. I should have moved that corner counter because we don't really have a corner counter there. But because obviously it's not going to be exactly how our kitchen is, I was trying to figure out how to get it around the wall, but then I realised we actually have a bar against this wall, so I do change it in a moment. But I just realised that it's so hard to recreate something when you don't actually have the exact amount of space. So yeah, I get rid of that cupboard and then create kind of a bar area. We don't use it as a bar area, but I kind of thought it would look okay. So this bit, just ignore it, it does change because I have a realisation that that's not what my kitchen looks like. But it all comes together in the end. And also we have a fair few, gosh, I can hardly talk. We do have a fair few, what's it called? Cupboards above everything where we usually keep, you know, like our glasses, and things like that. Cutlery, there's a drawer for cutlery. But all that sort of stuff does get found out. But so it kind of looks how my kitchen does. And then I changed this to an end cupboard just to give slightly more space, even though that's not what my kitchen looks like. But it was just hard with the space, and I don't know, I think I may add bar stools because we did used to have bar stools within our kitchen, but yeah, I can't remember if I decided against them or not. But we did used to have bar stools, but we got rid of them because it's more of what do you call them? A cereal bar. I think that's what we call them in the UK. I'm not sure if I'm being a bit of an idiot calling them that, but I think that's what we call them. And here I'm just trying to work out what to do with the cupboard situation because I do have a lot of cupboards in our kitchen. And obviously our light switch as well is behind that wall, so when you go into the kitchen you have to go right into the kitchen to turn the light on, so it's really creepy at night time. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, I'm just going to continue decorating the kitchen and then I think I move on to the living space. So yeah, I'm just going to speed through this part. I do that quite a bit. I know, but I just couldn't decide. And then my dining space, we don't actually really, I don't know if this is a British family thing because my boyfriend's family do this as well. But do any of you British people, do you eat at the dinner table? Do you eat at the dinner table? Because we have a dining table, which we don't use, and we usually eat on the sofa with food on our laps watching TV, which is funny because that's what I get my Sims to do a lot, and I always feel like what you do rubs off on your gameplay. So I hardly ever use the dinner table, but we have one. And also if we had reptiles, I'd be able to put in a little tank there because we've got a gecko that sits in that corner by the dining table as well. And then funnily enough, I remember watching someone's video saying that they don't put the TV near the window because of obviously light shining in. But our TV is actually near the window. It's right in front of the window. But, do you know, as I'm looking at this, thinking about my house, I know why. It's not a flat wall. That we do have a kind of bit that comes out for the fireplace, which is why I'm thinking I have so much space to work with, but I don't. But these tables I thought were really cute. I don't have tables like this within my house, but they're quite similar little coffee tables to what we do have. They just don't have glass bits, ours, but I just kind of liked those. I thought they were really, really sweet tables, and the brown furniture goes really well. Yeah, we have a lot of brown in our like living spaces. And we have like brown leather sofas, but I couldn't do they do brown leather like looking sofas within The Sims, or am I being blind again? I could have used these like dine out ones. This one is probably the most similar though, this one here, but I do obviously make it longer. But then I realised as well, I've given myself even more space because our living room, the sofas are against the wall, and then my dad's got kind of like a granddad chair, we like to call it his granddad chair, within the other side facing the TV as well. And then in that corner we have a fish tank. So I probably will put a fish tank in, but you know, and you just think, I'm just unsure as to whether or not half of this stuff is, you know, if I could make it like slightly better by giving myself less space. I've been too generous, I think, and it could look better. So you could come back to the next video and it would be completely different. But I thought I'd put this chair within his room because it's the same chair, but my dad has kind of like a recliner there. Which I do move. I also noticed I don't use the Sims 3 camera to play or build in The Sims. I know a lot of people do because they obviously get that spinny feature, so I just use it within the game. But anyways, I'm gonna leave my talking here and hopefully I'll see you in the next part. And if you enjoyed, please subscribe and like. I know it's not very interesting because you obviously don't know me very well and this is my house and it's a bit boring, but if you did enjoy, please give it a thumbs up and like, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!